Grow your practice, grow your wealth, grow your impact. Find out how to spend less time in the dental chair and more time on the things you love.
Now, this is an exercise that if I were on a plane and I was flying back somewhere, I would probably spend some time on this exercise. I'd probably wake up tomorrow and I'd probably do it again, and I would spend a little time. If you don't make use of a journal, I would make use of one. I'd start writing these things down. But here's the thing about trying to create a new identity is that you're going to fall down once or twice. You're not going to hit 100% of everything you shoot for. Do not be embarrassed by your failures. Learn from them and start again. Do not be embarrassed by your failures. Learn from them and start again. On the way to create a new leadership identity, you're going to see yourself as a leader, and as you see yourself as a leader, you're ultimately going to have to quit some things. And this is the thing about creating new identity. So I said, as soon as you get to the place in life where you feel like you got it together, where you feel like your faith, your fitness, your family, wherever it is, you feel like you got it nailed. You're like, man, I got this, Eric. I got it. I got it figured out. You got to actually stop again. You got to stop behaviors. You got to change who you are again. The idea of life and being ever becoming, always get better. Now, I'm sharing with you my personal philosophy because I'm telling you right now, my personal philosophy is that till the day we walk out of this earth, we should be getting better. Till the day we walk off this earth, ultimately speaking, we should be impacting people. Every single day, we should do that. I know I don't believe in sitting around and watching Fox News all day long or whatever else people want to do all day long. I believe that your entire life should be about giving back and impacting people and always getting better. So if that's the case, you got to get good at the art of quitting. You have to get good at the art of quitting. You are surrounded by people who currently accept your identity. You are surrounded by people who currently accept your identity. And by the way, those people have to put you in a box. So I eat mostly I eat like a lot of plant-based stuff. I don't eat a lot of meat, and the reason why is, well, outside the scope of today. But I don't. And you know what? Here's what happens. People have to categorize me. So when I don't eat a lot of meat, here's the first person says to me. Here's what they say. What do you think they say? They call me a what? You guys know. A vegan. Like, you're vegan. I'm like, I'm not a vegan. I don't eat. I eat plenty of meat. And they're like, oh, what do you eat? I go, well, I eat fish. And they go, oh, you're a pescatarian. I was like, how about I'm a guy just trying to eat healthy? People got to put you in a box, don't they? They got to try to figure you out, put you in a category so they can label you, so they can know who you look like, who you are, so they can know how to just identify you. By the way, they're identifying you. You are surrounded by people who accept your current identity. Let that sit with you for a second. The people in your life accept your current identity. If they didn't, ultimately speaking, they wouldn't be in your life. Now, that's a good and it's a bad thing. It's good because you have community. You have people around you. But as you start to push yourself, as you actually start to become better, I will tell you, unfortunately, you're going to lose some of those people. When you start to change your identity, when you start to, in life, start to push yourself up. If you become a leader, now go to your practice for a second. You walk in. And by the way, this happened to me. I told you guys in the Navy that were here last year, is I decided, ultimately speaking, I was going to be the best of the best. I walked in. I was sharp as could be. I was feeling good. Everything was starched. I had my GW spirit. And the first thing I heard from people is, I can't use those words on this stage. What do you think the very first thing people did was as soon as I changed my identity, because as soon as I was like, I'm going to be the best damn sailor in the entire United States Navy, I'm going to be the best of the best, I'm going to show up every day, I'm going to be awesome. What do you think the first thing people did was? Put me down, you kiss ass. Does that feel good? Anyone like that? You think they call me names? You think if you walk into your practice next week, sharp as can be, doing all this thing, you do not think that someone's going to say something about you? Think about that for a second. Just let that sit with you. Do you think someone's going to, that's amazing. You look better than us. You're doing an awesome job. You'll probably get promoted before I do. Man, keep up the good work. Or do you think they'll call you names? You think they'll push back against you? Honestly, you guarantee it. You guarantee it. Because I believe people want to see people do really well. Just not better than them. So as soon as you start changing an identity, as soon as you start moving and you're all excited, you're like, man, I'm doing that awesome thing. And I'm like, it doesn't matter if it's your diet. It doesn't matter if it's your clothes. It doesn't matter if it's your talk. It doesn't matter what you're reading. Somebody is going to talk about you. And they're going to say something about you. And they're going to try to get in your head to beat you down. And that's why leadership is so damn difficult, because every time you try to grow up, somebody pulls you right back down. And sometimes they're the people that love you. They're your family members. I'm telling you, family's rough, aren't they? They're the first ones who will tell you think you're better than us. Don't try to escape. They'll grab you. Great leadership is hard because you got to push through this stuff. You got to actually show up and do things different than everybody else, and you got to be okay with people saying bad things about you and talking about you and ultimately unfriending you. Are you ready for that? Because you got to be great at the art of quitting, and you got to quit the people that ultimately you felt comfortable with, who accepted your current identity, because you are surrounded by people who accept your current identity. Believe it or not, ultimately your next level doesn't have most of those people in it. You ready for that? There's always things that people say. They go, your net worth is ultimately the sum of the 10 people that you spend the most time with. Right? You're like, oh, okay. I'll just hang out with wealthier people. Why would they hang out with you? Because it means you're bringing their net worth down. Because, does that make sense? Like math people in the room? You better bring value to their life. You better bring something to their life. If you're going to accept a new identity and you're going to end up in that circle, you better bring something into that circle. You better bring value. Remember I said yesterday, it's the relationships you don't see. You don't see the relationships that they spend time with. So that means you got to get really good at yourself and grow yourself and let those other people go so that you can sit in that new circle and ultimately bring value to that circle. But you better understand that it takes 10,000 hours to become great at everything, and you got to work on this every single day. All right, Eric, I was all into this like leadership retreat thing. Sounds like a lot of work. I mean, can I just have a beer? I mean, it's Friday, Saturday, right? It's hard. That's why we don't see many great leaders. That's why we don't see many great leaders, because it's hard. Humans have a deep aversion to loss. We do. We fear more loss than we seek gains. We don't want to lose the things we're comfortable with in life. We don't want to lose the people around us. We don't want to lose them, so we hold on. We hold on to those people, especially people that are saying that we think we're better than them, that we're doing this or we're doing that. So we ultimately allow them to hold us down because we don't want anyone to ever say anything bad about us, and we don't want to lose anyone in our lives. But isn't that scarcity and abundance? Harvard did a research study on what makes people millionaires and billionaires. And they thought maybe it was education. Maybe if you went to Ivy League school, you're more likely to become a millionaire. It's not true. So they thought, okay, well, what else could it be? Maybe it's the families they grew up in. Maybe that's it. And that wasn't true either. And they came down and said the difference between millionaires and billionaires and the rest of the world is that millionaires and billionaires see the world in abundance and everyone else sees it in scarcity. You can't have an aversion to loss. You have to understand there's unlimited gains. There are unlimited gains in your life. There's unlimited amount of abundance. There's unlimited amount of people who want to spend time with you. There's an unlimited amount of people that ultimately will help you get to the next level of your life, that want to help you. I was having a conversation with Ken Jocelyn last night at dinner, And he goes, it's cool. This billionaire keeps getting on his private jet, and he wants to be part of my group and hang out with us. And I'm like, can I pay you something? Can I give you some gas money for your jet or something? Can I do something for you? And he's like, no. Keep your money. Keep your money. Isn't it interesting that a billionaire would want to just help people? How do you think he got to become a billionaire? There's an unlimited amount of people who will help you reach your dreams. There are an unlimited amount of people in this world who will help you reach your dreams. Remember yesterday I said you just take a vision, you plant the seed, and you share it with people? When you share it enough, there's enough people that will pick up your message and say, that person's driven, that person cares. Go back to your doctors and tell them how much you want to grow the practice, how much you want to build, how much you want to create, what do you want to do, how you want to transform the organization. There's not enough of that. They are unlimited. The people that put you in a room today that spent thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to put you in a room to hear the message this morning. Think about that for a minute. They took their own money, they invested in you. The greatest thing you can do is ultimately take something with that message and make something come out of it. Understand, there are unlimited amount of people that will help you reach your dreams if you'll just dream. If you'll just climb, if you'll just share. Watch what happens. You can't look like everybody else, though. You got to climb. You got to change. You got to look different. But there's unlimited amount of people who will help you reach your dreams. Unlimited amount. And here's the cool part. The bigger your dreams, the more people willing to help. That's the cool part. That's the cool part. But if you see your identity as someone no one listens to, as somebody who's an introvert, as someone who's not the brightest, someone who's whatever, you'll never get there anyhow because you're more focused on scarcity of what you're not than what you are and what you have to offer. All of you have something amazing to offer if you'll just let it out. If you'll just let it out, let that thing go. But you'd have to let go of your current identity, which means letting go of your current activities, your current situations, your current people, current everything you're doing. You'd have to change that identity. The person you see in the mirror, you have to let them go by. You want to wake up a decade from now and not even recognize the person that you are today. That's what greatness is. That's what great leaders do. They let go of their identity and they go accept a new one. Letting go of who you've been, how people have seen you, and how others have related to you, though, can feel like losing a big part of yourself. If your identity is to hang out with everybody and by the way, this is not a knock on any behavior, I'm just talking. If ultimately your identity is you're the barbecue pit master, and you can drink half a keg on Saturday, and you have all the friends and community around you, and it feels really great, if you ultimately, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with being that person, by the way, just that, I'd like to probably hang out with that person, they'd probably be fun. The point I'm trying to make is if you ultimately started to transform your identity and you were ultimately to change your behaviors, what will happen is you'll lose some of those people that wanted to hang out with you on Saturday. You'll lose ultimately some of those people that wanted to come over and watch the game with you. The second that I said, hey, I don't want to drink beer with you, I don't want to go out and I don't really drink, as soon as I said that, I started losing friends right away. Do you think that would happen to you? Think about that. When you start changing your behaviors, ultimately speaking, you start to lose people in your life. But here's the cool part. Here's the great news. So that's loss. But here's the great news. Guess what? You get new people that want to hang out with you. New people that want to hang out with you. If you start sharing big dreams and big hopes, guess what I want to do? I want to hang out with you. I met Dr. Lindgren years ago. I want to hang out with her. I'm telling you, dream makers are big. They're awesome. They're amazing. When you start actually hanging out with people that are awesome and abundant and thinking and growing, you want to spend time with them. Do you think it's hard to find people like me? The answer is, of course. So I got to go looking. Right? But here's the thing, the more you share it, the more you find people who ultimately want to be like that. Now, here's the cool part. Imagine hanging out with 20 people just like me all the time. And I'm serious. What would that do to your life? Your thinking, your mentality, your wealth, your education? What would that do for you over a period of time? Can you imagine if we just hung out for like a year? Now, you'd probably annoy everyone you hang out with today. That I can guarantee you. But it would transform your life. It would transform your income. It would transform everything about your life. Even how you see the world today. How many of you are happy? Don't raise your hand. Even happiness is a choice. Even happiness is a choice. You hang out with internal optimists like myself, start to become happier because you start seeing the good in everything. It's kind of interesting. Your whole life is based on the people you hang out with. How you feel in this room this morning, today, is based on the decision you made and ultimately your current identity. Your behaviors are just a reflection of your current identity. It's all it is. People will make you feel guilty as soon as you want to change. So this idea of identity. All right, got you, Eric. Okay, I got this. Okay, he's saying, okay, I gotta kind of think about who I am today, who I want to be in the future. Okay, I got that part. That makes a lot of sense. All right, what else, Eric? Okay, so now I know these behaviors. If I'm gonna go from this page to this page, that means ultimately I'm gonna have to make some changes because the people on this page ultimately are different than the people on this page, and the behaviors on this page are different than this page. Okay, I got that part. Okay, he said I'm gonna go through discomfort and uncertainty. Well, yeah, definitely. All right, so I got to be able to push through that part. All right, so I got that. So I'm going to change this behavior. I can now start writing down a list of behaviors and people and things I want to do. And now I start having action steps. I'm like, okay, got that. All right, I'm going to be uncomfortable. And even when I get uncomfortable again, I got to change that behavior because if I still want to get better and better and better. Oh, you mean it's not on Instagram and all this BS, Rolls Royce crap. It's actually people who are, I love the Instagram world. By the way, it's all crap. You know, guy goes rents a Rolls Royce for the day and he's like, look at me. I'm an influencer. It's crap. Reality is in that book. Then we go, okay, I'm going to try this out. I got a hypothesis. I think if I act like this, this will happen. I test it. Hey, okay, I'm going to make some changes. All right, I got that. I'm going to continue to try this, try that. I'm going to start changing my identity. It changes over a period of time. It's not one day. It's over and over and over again. So I start to change it. Now I start to see results. By the way, the students starts pushing back on me, and they start calling me names. Guess what? I get really excited. That's called progress. I want people to look back and say, you'll never be able to do that. Yes. Yes. Right? You think you're better than us? Yes. I do. I'm kidding. Not better in the eyes of God, but maybe in where you're going. But then why don't we do this? Okay, I got that, Eric. I got left page, right page, discover uncertainty. Then why don't we do this then? Why don't we do, it's got to be easy. All I got to do is left page, right page. It's pretty easy. Because our psychology. Because we go to these upper limits. And I'm going to talk about 4 barriers really quick because we have ultimately limits and barriers we put on our lives. So barrier number 1, we actually have what's called self-imposed limitations. We have ultimately upper limit problems. We have problems. We beat ourselves back down again. As soon as we start doing well, we beat ourselves down. We push ourselves down. We don't even know we do it. We do it in relationships. We do it in life. We do it all the time. We actually as soon as we start to grow, we push ourselves back again. The first barrier, success brings more burden. Hey guys, I got a question for you. When is enough enough? How many have heard, when is enough enough? Raise your hand if you've ever heard that saying. When is enough enough? That's just someone trying to hold you down. If you hear Dr. Mo saying, when's enough enough? You're like, yes, 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 I'm on the path. Woo! When is enough enough? God, he got it again. Yes. Because someone's telling you when is enough because their own BS that they've got in their head and they don't want to see you outshine them. So they'll say to you, when is enough enough? Sometimes we live with those people. It's never enough. Somebody asked me one time, they said, Eric, what do you want out of this world? I said, I want to swing for the fences. It's never going to be enough. Ever. Well, but Eric, when you pass away, that'll be it. No, it won't. Because it lives on with everyone in this room. This message is infinite. It's never going to be enough. Understand, one of the very first things you'll start to tell yourself when you start to do well is, you know what, I've got enough. Hey, if I take on that new position as the head of hygiene, if I take on that new role, you know, I'm going to have all these problems, it's going to be headaches, and do I really need to deal with it? I don't even know. I mean, is it even worth it? I don't even know if it comes with a pay raise. Maybe it's enough. You will do that to hold yourself down. You will do it. Catch yourself. You'll say, man, maybe I don't need this. Maybe I'm good where I'm at today. That is psychology. It's pushing yourself down. You're actually holding yourself down by some belief that's been instilled with you since birth, basically, that ultimately there's a level which you should cap your own potential. And then society says, when is enough enough? And so you've let that be your barrier. You know, we've grown this practice to like 3 locations, like a pretty good income. It's probably good enough. When's enough enough? That's an upper limit problem. Barrier number 2, the belief in fundamental flaw in leaderships. Hey, look, I'm just not that person. I'm an introvert. I'm not wired that way. I don't know how to lead people. I don't know how to build up organizations. I wasn't given that education. Ultimately speaking, I don't know how to create wealth. I'm not good at mathematics. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at that. That's ultimately a fundamental flaw. I don't believe that I'm good enough to do that, Eric. You don't understand. No one's ever taught me about leadership. I come from a low-income family. I wasn't educated. I only have a high school degree. Ultimately speaking, I'm not good enough. So when you start to grow, as soon as you start to grow, when you start from looking from that left side to that right side, you go, I'm not the person who can do this. That's an upper limit problem. It's just a story you're telling yourself. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm too short. I'm too tall. I'm black. I'm white. I'm a female. Right? I'm Jewish. I'm Muslim. That's the reason I can't do it. It's belief in a fundamental flaw. It's just not true. It's just a story you tell yourself. If that was true, when I went to the University of Florida, they said, you know, here's the thing you got to know is that leadership usually is tall, that you have to be really tall to be promoted to high positions. Luckily, no one's standing next to me. By the way, I like being short. Defying the odds. I don't believe it's a fundamental flaw. Plus, less strain on my heart. Belief in a fundamental flaw can cripple your leadership confidence. Belief in a fundamental flaw can cripple your leadership confidence. If you believe as a leader you don't have the tools, you look at another leader, you go, I can't do what they do. I can't act like she acts. I'm not as extroverted. I'm not as personable. I'm not as tall. I'm not as beautiful. I'm not whatever it is. You start believing, hey, I can't be that person. That ultimately is that thing will hold you back. And by the way, I don't want to outshine anybody else. I don't want to look better than the owner of the business. I don't want to look better than the doctors. I don't want to look better than this. I don't want to look better than that person. It's a belief ultimately that there's a fundamental flaw. There's something called imposter syndrome. Ever heard it? I was talking to the CEO, and Mike Bellino, wherever you're at, Dr. Bellino, we were talking this morning, had a great conversation. We were talking about this conversation about imposter syndrome. And I was talking to the CEO of a $1 billion company, and he goes, you know what I feel like on the board? As I'm a CEO of a $1 billion company. And he was like, man, if they ever figure out that I don't know what I'm doing, why'd they put me in charge? If they ever figure it out. And he said, I started spending time with other CEOs of $1 billion companies, and guess what they would say to me? If they ever figure us out, we don't know what we're doing. That's a belief in a fundamental flaw. I'm not good enough. Why would they put me in this position? I don't have the same background as some of these guys. I haven't done what they've done. I shouldn't even be in this position right now. If they ever figure out that I'm not as good as they think I am, ultimately I'll never be able to get to the next level. And it's a belief in a fundamental flaw, and it's bullshit. I saved my expletives. I think that's 2. It's pretty good. Three, the crime of outshining others in the workplace. The crime of outshining others in the workplace. Ooh, this one right here, I'm telling you, this will get you every time. As soon as you start to outshine other people, you're going to get the names that I talked about. You're going to be called things. People will push back against they will push back in every way possible. They'll be passive aggressive. Well, it must be nice to Little things said over a period of time. And if you accept those things as your identity, if you allow those things to creep in over a period of time, they will change who you are. Don't you realize that every single day of your life, people are saying things every single day to ultimately create the identity that you have for yourself? Guard your cup. Guard your cup. Every single day, people are trying to hold you back, and if you don't think so, you're wrong. At best, naive. That doesn't mean that it's not people to help you become great, because there's a lot of people trying to help you become great too, and you're not listening to them. Listen to the people helping you become great, because there's a lot of people in your organization that want you to be great. They brought you here today. There's a lot of people that want you to be great. Let those people influence you. Listen to their words. Listen to the people you aspire to be like. Listen to them. Don't listen to the naysayers. Listen to ultimately the leaders of your organization, the people that are driving the car, who are telling you to change your life. Listen to those people. But I will tell you, it's going to create discomfort and uncertainty when you start to grow. Now, if you believe that you're fundamentally flawed, I just don't have those talents, I don't have those abilities, I can't be that person, I just don't know. Well, they're going to not like me and I won't get invited to lunch anymore. Then at the end of the year, the end of 2 years, the end of 3 years, the end of 5 years, the end of 10 years, the end of 15 years, the end of 20 years, the end of 30 years, you'll wake up one day and go, how the hell did I get here? Because you let that comment affect you today. Because it was the compound effect. Because those same 30 hours I talked about, you let them slip by. You did what those other people did. Instead of charting the path, you listen to other people and you believe their lies about your fundamental flaws and what you can accomplish and what you become and what you can become, and you listen to them. Don't listen to what they say. Don't act the way they act. They don't have the life you want anyhow. Go watch the people that you have the life that you really want. Listen to them. Do what they do. Now, if you compound effect that over a period of time, it'll be different. But I'm going to tell you right now, this one is really tough. Is it not? Can we be honest? Give me a little bit, if you believe this is tough, what I want you to do is I want you to go, boop. All right? You can make a cooler sound than that if you want to. All right, ready? If you think this is hard, give me some kind of sound, right? 1, 2, 3. We should think of a cooler sound. I missed the mark on that one. Booyah. Booyah doesn't feel authentic to me, though. It's not authentic to me. It's like Shad and Brian's thing. It's not my thing. The crime of outshining in the workplace. It actually happens with doctors, too. Doctors in the room say, well, that's not with us. It's not true. It's not true at all. Sometimes it's outshining the owner. Sometimes it's outshining the current owner. Sometimes it's outshining the peers. It's not true. Every single one of you deal with the same thing. If you sit in this room watching those slides and you're a doctor in this room and you look at the team and you go, yeah, this is for them. You missed it. You missed it. This is for you too. This is for me too. This is for every single one of us in this room today to hear this message, that these are the things that are holding you back from where you want to be. Leaders subconsciously hold themselves back to maintain harmony. Leaders subconsciously hold themselves back to maintain harmony so that everybody will like them, so everybody will get along, so there won't be any drama. But as Shad and Brian talked about yesterday, conflict is inevitable. Conflict is inevitable. Drama is optional. Conflict is inevitable. When you go to ascend in your life, you will have conflict. How many of you right now love conflict? To become a great leader, you better get good at conflict because you're going to have it. Now, Eric, I thought you were going to get up here and tell me the easy ways to become a leader. I thought you were going to tell me it was like easy and like, there's the 3-step guide. 1, wake up. 2, smile. 3, tell yourself you're successful. If it was that easy, everybody would be a great leader. It's not that easy. It is hard. It does take work. It does take dedication. And that's why people don't do it. You know who we offered to come to this conference? That's why I said the people that brought you here today, thank them again. You're in a special room with special leaders who invested a lot because they believe in you, because they believe in the message, because they want you to hear this so you'll change and transform your life and you'll impact people. That's why you're here. Give them a round of applause again. So you have to build a culture of shared success. So if that's the case, then if we're going to hold ourselves back, we have to have a culture of shared success. When Tiny Rhino does her fist bump, I've watched it before. They do this thing called fist bump. I'm not going to try to imitate it because once again, I don't do the booyah thing and I'm not as good at it as it. Tiny Rhino, yell, do some kind of noise. All right. So they do this thing called fist bump. And it's really cool, and it's actually emotional. And you get in the room, and they actually start going around the room, and they start like calling each other out for the greatness that they do. I want to give a fist bump to Ashley. I want to give a fist bump to Tarek. I want to give a fist bump to Courtney. And then so they start doing this where they start fist bumping each other, and it gets contagious where they're all like going, she's amazing. No, you're amazing. You're great. You're awesome. I love you. And it's like, before you know it, it's like, man, I love you guys. And that's why Shad, when I captured him, he was saying, hey, don't you dare turn down that compliment, because someone turned down a compliment, and he said, don't you dare, and I captured this, and actually I opened it on my phone this morning and watched it, don't you dare, because his words were so powerful, and this wasn't premeditated, he was just speaking, because leaders work on this stuff, and it's in their heart and in their souls, and so when Shad talks about this, it's who he is, it's his identity, and what he was saying that day was, don't you dare turn down that compliment. Don't you dare turn it down. Let it get in your heart. Let it come inside of you. Hear those words, because it will change your identity. And that's when I was like, ooh, I got that on video. It was good. Build a culture of shared success. Allow others to win. Hear their wins. Here's what I will tell you to do. I'm not a big fan of the whole, hey, share your wins today. Because people get up there and they'll go, okay, my win, went to the park this weekend. Got a teeth cleaning. Instead, tell the successes. Let your team tell on them. Tell their successes. Instead of them sharing their successes, let the rest of the team share their successes. Let the rest of the team talk about how great they are. Watch that happen. Watch that invigorate. And I love what they do in Fist Bump. Let that be your culture. Have each other talk about how great each other is. That's powerful. You've got to create a culture of shared success. Matthew and I were talking yesterday, and we were talking about Deion Sanders. This thing is cool. Is that because Deion Sanders has changed the entire culture over at Colorado football. And so he said, what happens is, change the whole culture at Colorado football. It's leadership, by the way. By the way, he's going through adversity right now. That's leadership, by the way. He's going through the naysayers right now. That's leadership. He's going through uncertainty and discomfort. That's leadership. So he makes everyone celebrate a touchdown or a score. He's changed the culture. He's like, no. Because it used to be people would walk off the field after a touchdown and be like, do. All right, come on, buddy. So now they make them celebrate. And so the kicker kicks a field goal, and he comes off, and everyone's like, yeah. And he's like, no, get your butt back on the field. Now dance. I'm not dancing. He's like, dance. Get out there and celebrate the touchdown. Celebrate this stuff. Let it change your identity, how you see yourself, who you are. Let it change the person you see in your mirror every single day. We're here for you. We're here to celebrate your wins, to celebrate your sex. We're going to build you up. We're going to become the best version of yourself. And in our practice, I don't give a damn what other practices are doing. At our practice, everyone wins. At our practice, you become the best of the best. At our practice, we build leaders. At our practice, every single day, we know it's difficult. We don't talk bad about each other. You want to find the door, say something bad about anyone in this office. You're gone. When I ran a dental practice, that was my one rule. That was my one rule. You say a negative thing about the doctor or any team member, I don't care who you are, you're gone. They didn't believe me until I made it happen. They learned very quickly. We are a culture of shared success. We celebrate everybody. We build each other up. We help each other become the best version of ourselves. That's what great leaders do. They help each other become better. And when you become great at this stuff, when you become good at it, when you become the best of the best, when you start to celebrate each other's wins and you understand that these are the 4 barriers and you work on them and you go, hey man, that's just a self-imposed limitation. No, man, that's just self-imposed. That's not true. You believe that's a fundamental flaw, and it's not true. That's not a flaw. You can do this. You can build that. You can create this. We promise you, and we hype each other up. I'm telling you right now, it will change your whole patient communication. It'll change your team communication. It'll change your finances. It'll change everything. That's what great leadership is. You're like, man, but Eric, that's going to feel funny at first. Hell yeah, it is. It's going to feel weird, and you're going to feel goofy, and you're going to feel stupid some days, and it's going to create discomfort and uncertainty, and you're not going to know how to do it. But after a while, man, you get it. You get it. Before you are a leader, success is about growing yourself. But when you become a leader, it's about growing others. Before you're a leader, success is about growing yourself, but when you become a leader, success is about growing others. All of you in this room today need to be part of that circle. You need to let go and abandon the old behaviors, abandon the way you're doing things today, abandon what you were taught and go to a new way. And it's going to take discomfort and uncertainty to get there, but when you push on the organization to become better, when you push on each other to become better, when you coach, remember every person needs not just a manager, but a leader. This world lacks leadership. Change the way you're doing things. Because this idea of disloyalty and abandonment, hey, listen, if we change the way we're doing things, it'll be weird and people will leave us. Look, there is a struggle between personal advancement and team cohesion. We gotta build team cohesion. You have to build an environment, and when I say you, I don't just mean the doctors. Don't go back and go, yeah, she really needs to do that. When I was in the U.S. military, I didn't wait for somebody else to build the culture. I built the damn culture. I was an E2, and I said, I will change 300 grown men, and I did. You, that's right, you have the ability to change your entire darn organization. You don't wait for somebody else to become the leader. Don't wait for them to do it. And when you start to do that, you're going to say, yes, but people are going to ultimately think I'm trying to outshine them. Outshine them. People are going to push back on you and say, you shouldn't act like that. Let them push back. Who cares? Be the best version of yourself. Fight, push through, become the best. And even if the owning doctor doesn't do it, who cares? You do it. Maybe you'll inspire them. Change is hard at first. It's messy in the middle, but it's gorgeous at the end. Change is hard at first. It's messy in the middle, and it's gorgeous at the end. What I'm asking you to do is probably one of the greatest challenges of your life, but I'm asking you to transform your life, to transform your identity, to transform the future of your life, your family, your organization. And every single one of you has the opportunity to do that. And I'm here to tell you, as someone who's done it, you have the ability to. I came from nothing. No money, no income, no silver spoon, no college education, and I'm fucking here today. There are no excuses. There are no excuses. But if you've been through what I've been through, Eric, you'd feel different. Come on. We've all been through stuff. We all have hardships. We've all had people pass away. We've all had divorces. We've had things happen to our lives. We've had people leave us. We've had tragedies. We've had heartaches. We've had headaches. We've had cancers. We've had it all. Your story is no different. But I'm fundamentally flawed. No, you are not fundamentally flawed. I'm here to tell you that you're not fundamentally flawed. That you're not. That someone sold you their story years ago. And you bought it. You bought their story. Don't buy their story. I love this stuff. Y'all love this stuff? Think I'm passionate about this stuff? That's the first F-bomb I've dropped in a while on stage. Is that all right? Say or no? Sorry. I told my kid one day, I said, you know, you can only drop expletives if it's something passionate. And then like I was cursing while I was driving one day. He was like, Dad, that didn't help the argument. So I apologize that I offended you, but here's the thing. That's what happens. Passion gets the heart. Passion gets in your heart. When you love this stuff, when you build, when you create, when you get excited about this stuff, I'm telling you, it'll get in your soul. It'll get in every part of your entire human being. It will change who you are as an individual. And that's what I'm asking you today, is I'm asking you to change who you are as an individual. Become passionate. Become alive. Now, you might not act like me. You might have your own version of this. But become the best version of yourself, whatever it is. Whatever it is, become the best version of yourself. Understand that you're going to have natural barriers. Those barriers are going to come up for your life, and every single one of you. And by the way, before you leave here today, it will happen for you. Someone's going to ultimately push back on you. I started this company because I believed in leadership. I started this company because I believe in leadership. Because I believe that if you take an organization, which is one of the greatest things on earth, and you instill these concepts within inside an organization, you can impact lives. That you can impact so many lives you wouldn't even know what to do with it. That ultimately speaking, that eventually, that if I was to ultimately talk about leadership, we'd end up in Atlanta, Georgia, with hundreds of people sitting in a room listening to a message on how we can take organizations and we can transform organizations. I knew that eventually, if I kept pushing and I kept pushing, eventually I would give away a Bronco to a bunch of leaders. This afternoon, I'm giving away a Bronco. This afternoon, I'm giving away a Bronco. By the way, you got to be present to win. Just so you know. Oh, Patrick Lynch won. He's not here. Not going to happen. I'm passionate about every single one of you in this room. I haven't met every single one of you, but I know you. I haven't had the pleasure, but I promise you I know you. I know your story. I know where you're from. I know what you've been through. I know your doubts. I know your fears. but I also know why you're here. Let today transform you. Let your practice transform you. Let your organization transform you. Create a new identity for yourself and go do great things. Thanks, guys.
You're gonna see me right.
Look, one of the things that you want to know is that people want to share things of value and people want to be shared things of value, right? And so take a moment, forward this to 5 of your friends, save it ultimately, in your favorite podcast, do something with the content, share it with your team, share it with your leaders of your practice, have a conversation on how you can use this information. As always, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.